the impact of AI on startups or organizations in general? You're watching Microsoft Startup AI School, a Microsoft Reactive series of exciting and informative sessions where we introduce you to the basics of Gen AI and show how you can use AI to enhance your creativity, productivity, and efficiency. So, hi everyone, I'm Suzanne, a program manager with Microsoft Reactor and your host for the Microsoft Startup AI School series. So, this is the fourth of our series, and we have many more lined up. So, I'm just going to quickly share the link so that you can edit in your bookmark. Right. So, and I'm super grateful to have all of you join us from around the world. So if you've missed our previous 3 episodes, you can also find it on demand here. So today's session is all about data analysis. Our speakers call it a data analysis Blitz Turbocharge with Microsoft Fabric and Copilot. So for some strange reason, the gamer in me feels like I've already gained a few experience points just from hearing from the title from today's topic. So joining us today, we have Sakthi. So I'm going to invite Sakthi up onto the screen. Hello, Sakthi.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Susan.
Right, thank you for joining us. So Sakthi is a consultant and technologist with more than 16 years of experience in delivering digital transformation for Fortune X companies. So he has a wealth of experience in designing and deploying cloud-based solutions for various industries and also has worked across different regions, including Singapore, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and India. So, Sakthi, as a data and AI cloud solution architect, what do you mainly do?
Right, awesome. Thank you, Susan, for the opportunity. And hello, everyone, once again. And yeah, as a day-to-day job, I do work with enterprise, commercial, and government customers to help accelerate their digital transformation along with their data journey. And especially, we help them to put together the architecture which actually matches up to their use cases and bring them on board to cloud. And also look at the not just cloud, I also look at the other use cases which actually gels with different tech stacks. And yeah, the recent days we have do a lot of things with Fabric. Yes, that's one of the fascinating area for me to talk with you people today.
Very cool. And Sakthi, so just for us to understand you a little better, on a more casual front. So you mentioned that you have worked across many regions, right? So a few questions for you. Where are you based now?
Yeah, I'm based in Singapore. Yeah, so last 5 years I'm sticking with Singapore. And interestingly, my journey was every 2 years I travel to a different country and work with a different Washington customer. That's an opportunity I had from my previous roles. And yeah, so even now we have opportunity to go across the Singapore and also Asia region. Yes, yeah, I'm based in Singapore.
Your life, my dream. Right. So which is your current favorite region to work in and why?
Yeah, absolutely. Singapore. So Singapore is my second back home. I mean, I would say second time coming back to Singapore. I started my journey in India and UK and back to India and Singapore. And from Singapore, I traveled to US and Canada. So I felt again feeling as a home, and again closer to India is another one reason. And again, it's closer to the community where I mostly interact and gel very well with. And I'm not saying the other region I didn't really like it, but I would say it's more closer to the hometown feel what I have.
Right. Sounds fun. It sounds good. Okay, so and today we have another speaker joining us from another country. So for all of you watching today, no prizes if you have gotten this correct. I mean, obviously, like you have seen our slides here. So let's have him up, shall we?
Sure. And
Ta-da!
Hi! Wow, my heart is beating so fast. I'm so excited every time I'm joining the Microsoft Reactor.
Right.
so
Sawadee Job.
Sawasdee
Thank you for
krap.
joining us. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Job, you can do an introduction of yourself.
Sure, of course. Yeah, my name is Job. My full name is Shai Chansiwanun, but just recommend me as Jobs. I'm digital specialist from Microsoft Thailand. Digital specialist mean like we focus on the Asia product of our Microsoft Cloud, and my focus area is going to be application and infrastructure. And like my background is going to be like web developers, and also I'm like developer communities, Thailand contributor as well. Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
me.
So I
yeah,
know you're very
so
popular.
Jeff is the one who's very much familiar in the Thai tech community, and yeah, you can find him more interactive sessions. He usually runs with the tech community in Thailand.
For sure, yeah, he's very popular amongst the Thai tech community. Yep, so I'm really excited to hear about the new features released in Microsoft Fabric just last month and the magic it can do now with Copilot. So before we start, shall we quickly just run through the code of conduct just to make sure that everybody's in line? Yep, essentially we're asking for everyone to be respectful. We want everyone to have a good time, a welcoming and safe environment. So we welcome you to drop your questions and comments in the chat, and we'll respond to it during Q&A. So with that said, I'll hand over the session to Sakthi and Joe. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Susan. And yes, team, pleasure meeting you all again. And let me quickly share my screen and take you through the things we lined up for today. Okay, right. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us through LinkedIn. I've shared the contacts in the slide, and yeah, feel free to scan and join with us in LinkedIn, and happy to be part of your LinkedIn network as well. Right, and right, over to you, Jeff. I think we want to hear from you a few insightful thoughts, and we can probably take them in as an interactive one.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Satik. So I think, well, today we're gonna talking about like the data analytics involving in the era of AI like this, right? I think everyone recognize that AI is rapidly changing the world. However, like the data is like the fuel that powers the AI. The AI cannot be like more smart than like now, or even like work very well without data. So we're gonna have some question like how do we make the data ready for our AI, and do we have the enough tool or do we have a tool also with that could support on this process? Satik, we just thinking
Right.
about that.
So we have very excitedly, there are plenty of tools in the market. And if you see in my screen, there are so many things has been shown in the screen. And not just to surprise, each of them provides unique capabilities. So I'm not really saying, so one of them is, all of them would be providing the same kind of capability. Each of them provides different capabilities and which is unique. And yeah, end of the day, we would again trying to build and integrate with different tool set and coming together and get this AI in action. So that's a journey we have been taking up so far, and it is so hard as well because it's so many different tools and integration perspective. It is super challenging because some of them works within their own identity and some of them works with Microsoft identity. Some of them isn't still LDAP and SAM LAM authentication. So, and other than that, there is a network integration point of it, and every portion there are a bit challenging so far. And yeah, there is a security is another big top concerns for everyone as well. So say the cyber security is a bigger concern, and while integrating with other tools, they would also have to look at it, what kind of integration it happens and how these exchanges happens between two systems. So that was a super complex. And yes, we have so many plenty of tools in the market to do data and AI work as of now.
Yeah, just we are so lucky that we have a lot of tools like it. But I think
Exactly.
sometimes that maybe like it have too many option for us as well. I think sometimes like we have too many option. It's also come with like too many learning curve and too many like integration. Like when I talk to the customer, the message that I hear like consistently is this: please, please, could we like unify it? Could we like combine it into a single platform? I would like to be like chief information officer, but and I don't want to be like the chief integration officer. Please help me unleash AI in my data estate, something like that. Because like when we have too many tools, that means we have to learn a lot and we have to integrate it a lot. So my customer don't want to do like that. But yeah, as like we're gonna talking about today, fortunately Microsoft just built the tool named Microsoft Fabric that we're gonna combine every like process of the data, like ingest, process, analytics, and even like visualizing all of it. So this one we're gonna combine it into like unified stack. And like when we have to so many data source, we're gonna combine it into like the single data source. Even you have data source outside the cloud, in the multiple cloud, or even in the Asia itself, you can use Microsoft Fabric to do on that part. And the one amazing things part and is very popular one is the Microsoft Fabric also like integrate the Gen AI into the system, and that's what Sakthi gonna amplify that part today. Is that right?
Right, absolutely. Yes. So, yeah, Fabric is a unified solution which actually brings up all of the niche capabilities and component which is essential for the data analytics. So, we built as a platform as a unified data platform, which is integrating your data factory of the world, which is right now as a PaaS service, or if you look at it from the synapse of the world, which actually a data warehouse component, data lake component, and also the data science and data engineering capabilities. And we also had a data explorer, which is also part of Synapse. It's called Custo, and which is all combined into one single platform, addition to your, which is in Power BI and Data Activator. So it's all combined in one single unified platform with the help of Fabric, right? So
Mm.
this Fabric actually has an underlying data put together in one lake where every other component which actually interact with the data actually talks to the one single place, which is a one lake component. And yet, I mean, with unified data platform also comes with an open delta package format, which actually we opened up the data format as an unified format, which is again acceptable and usable by every industry standard. And if you look at our data lake or lake house or your data warehouse or in the Custo, which is a real time, all of them stores back to one lake in the format of delta package, which is an open standard format. You can take out anytime from Fabric and put it in the system where you can really read with an Apache Spark, right? So that's a capability, or that's an open format what we are providing from Unified Data Platform. We're not really locking down any data format, and it is a
Mm.
unified architecture for all of your use cases, even for data ingestion, data engineering, data science, even data analytics, and even whatnot, even for the real-time analytics. If you say if you're talking with sensor areas or even areas from like market price analysis, all of them can be combined in one single platform, can address all of the data requirements in one single place. Additionally, we also provide unified governance and unified compute model. If you could probably think there are so many workloads and all of them can run on top of one single compute, and
Mm.
we model it that such a way that it's actually unified approach, and even any component you use we fall back to the same unified compute and consume the compute resources. Yep.
Mm. I see. So wow, that's really fantastic that we have like so many tools like in the single platform, and we have the AI on top of the layer of data, right? So I see. So I have some questions, Satik. How does the Copilot accelerate the productivity with the Microsoft Fabric experience? How it's like help our productivity on the Microsoft Fabric with the AI?
Right, absolutely. So the productivity point of it, yeah, the Copilot is meant for help accelerate the things which are we have been doing it for ages of the years, right? So we really want to make use of AI to help ourselves to do things faster and a better way.
Mm.
Yeah, the Copilot has been built across for all experience within Fabric, and yeah, the Copilot can come in as a hand in hand to help you out for each of the experience perspective. For example, in case you are ingesting the data from somewhere, and we can use Copilot to help you out to cleanse the data and format the data and structure the data and make store them back to the lakehouse or the data warehouse, and make use of that data to do analytics with the help of notebooks, where you can also bring in a Copilot there to help you to build a model in
Mm.
such a faster way. You just throw as a simple English term, it can actually build the model and the whole code for you. Yeah, obviously you have control to tweak and change all of them, decide up to your the user who's really using it. And coming down, we can also build visuals. Just throwing some simple requirement to Copilot. Copilot can bring you ideas and visuals right away, and you have control to change all of them by user experience perspective. Right. So instead of me talking about all of them, I really want to quickly roll some video which actually talks all the way
Mm.
from start and until end. Maybe we can look at it, and followed by we can go deep dive on each of the experience.
Yeah, that's it. Hmm. So let's see how it's work.
Sorry, I think I switched fast. Okay. Hope You can.
Next generation AI in Microsoft Fabric empowers you to unlock the full potential of your data. With Copilot integrated into every data experience, Microsoft Fabric lets you use natural language to bring your data to life. From integrating data to writing code to finding insights and creating reports, new transformative AI experiences work alongside you every step of the way so you can stay focused on getting value from your data. Copilot helps turn your words into data flows and data pipelines so you can intelligently integrate data from anywhere. When writing code, Copilot automatically suggests code and entire functions in real time, and Copilot can guide you to create machine learning models to unlock insights in your data. Just by chatting with Copilot, you can visually explore your data to create stunning reports, discover insights, and summarize your data into easy-to-understand text narratives for sharing. With Copilot, you can turn insight into action with triggers that monitor your data and notify users. You can even create your own custom natural language experiences that combine Azure OpenAI models and your organization's data, and easily publish your creations as plugins. And with your data in Fabric, Copilot provides insights and answers everywhere work gets done. Most importantly, Microsoft Cloud runs on trust, which means your data always remains your data. Bring your data into the era of AI with Microsoft Fabric.
Right. So that's the power of Copilot with Microsoft Fabric. Yes, you would have end-to-end experience, Copilot coming along and helping you to build models or pipelines or even for the visualizations.
I see. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that it's really interesting to see. So I think I would like to see the real demonstration, and I would like to know like the capabilities of the using AI with Microsoft Fabric. Wow. So could you go to like do some demonstrate and explain a little bit on each of this part, like on the data factory, our ETL, on our like data engineering, and on our Power BI. Could you go it on it a little bit? Yeah.
Absolutely, Jeff. So these data factory are even the data science experience. It's not really a new to everybody. So they have been using for years of time with Microsoft PaaS services, which is again one of the capability which most of our data projects consumes right now. So the data factory basically is a component which comes from integration perspective. It actually pulls the data from different sources and combine them and make it as in structure format or write it into this different place. So either for ELT or ETL workload, which customers most of the time uses Data Factory. So we built in the Copilot within the Data Factory capabilities where it actually uses the Gen 2 data flows, where it actually helps you to write even simple queries in mQuery language, and also can convert your text formats into the actionable cleansing tasks, which are pretty complex for some of the data engineer. If you throw some data engineering work to someone, it would probably take hours and days of time. When Copilot in picture actually makes it easier and quicker, which is minutes and seconds sometimes. Right. So likewise, if you look at our data factory, which has actually capabilities which are pretty much embedded with data flows, and yeah, we will also experience in live demos later. Right. So the other portion where we have been also talking about data engineering and data science. Yes, data engineering perspective and data science perspective, there are two areas where Copilot has been already in action. So one, you can probably think about writing queries or analyzing the data against your data, which is already lives in the lakehouse or warehouse. And obviously, so you can also use Copilot with your data science notebooks, where it can help you to build models, end-to-end model, not just in one. And you can also ask Copilot to do any kind of integration, even staying within the notebooks. I'm also going to show one simple demo, which actually using the notebooks and pulling the data from different APIs and combine the data within that flow. Right, so likewise, the data science side of it and data engineering perspective, yeah, it can be a part of your notebooks, and I'll probably take you through the experience later in the demo. Right. Further down, if you look at the other big capability, it was actually bringing a lot of excitement and expectation from the customer perspective, was the Power BI. Early days, we really have to spend and look at the data and understand the data to come up with the visuals. Now, Copilot can help you analyze your data and suggest the visuals which can really fit in for your requirements and questions. Say you have been dealing with bigger, larger data model, and where you have to really ask to understand what each of the data model or each of the data set does within your data model. And when it comes to visualization, you have to really need to know what is the relationship between two of them. But if you ask your Copilot to do this analysis and give you some kind of insight, yes, it can do very powerfully. And now I can also proudly say it actually helps a lot of the time. I don't need to even go on dig and need to know. I can ask Copilot to tell me what is this data set all about and give me in a simple language which I can understand. And also I can relate when it actually generates the visuals by itself, right? So that's also we can go and look at for the demo.
Interesting.
Right. Let me transition to our live demo session and we can go through interactive.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Absolutely. So I'm happy as well. So let me quickly walk through Fabric as a whole. Yeah, so the Fabric, if you land on the page like app.fabric.microsoft.com, it actually gives you an experience, whatever you're seeing in my screen. It actually has different experience and capability perspective, Power BI, Data Factory, Data Activator, industry solution. We're also bringing quite a lot of industry-specific solution like healthcare and sustainability into Fabric. That's also a combined solution. You can look at it when you start exploring the Fabric. Additionally, data engineering, data science, warehouse, and real time. And if you see, we are all into the single homepage. And if you see the experience-wise, user would have option to switch to different experience your leftmost, right? So say as we talked previously, it's actually lake-centric architecture, and anything you start at actually goes back to the one lake, and you store the data in one lake, and you can bring in the data and store it in the one lake, and you do analysis from your one lake and do kind of notebooks and even your Power BI connecting to one lake in the direct lake mode. Right? All of them happens with interacting with your lake centric, which is in one lake. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to quickly create a simple simple lake house, which is actually starts with either your data engineering perspective, or you go to any experience, you can switch to the same lake house experience. Let me start with data engineering. Okay, so I already created one workspace, and under the workspace, I'm going to create some interesting capabilities of data engineering side, which is again the lakehouse. Yeah, you would see every place there is a new options where you can bring in lakehouse, warehouse, reporting, pipelines, all of them in one single pane, right? So if you switch to say the data science experience, you would see set up tools were listed on top. Yeah, you don't again need to worry. You don't miss anywhere. You can switch to any kind of experience anytime. Right, so if I switch back to the data science or data engineering side, I'm going to create some simple lakehouse. Right now, it's actually pointing to AI School, which is the workspace where you combine all of the artifacts and store it in one place called workspace. I'm going to quickly create a lakehouse. Right, okay. Not sure whether my internet is up yet. Okay, let me quickly refresh and bring back. Okay, I'm into my I'm going to create a lakehouse. So lakehouse is going to have two separate directories. One is for the tables, another one is for the files. And yeah, you can think about like a data lake where you bring in any kind of data format and pack it into the data lake, and you do kind of another mode as a structured format. Yeah, as I previously mentioned, it's called Delta Packet format. It is going to be an open standard format we are aligning to the industries. Let's quickly create as an AI School lakehouse. Yeah, it actually shows because previously I just typed it, but I didn't create it. Okay, so it's actually created lakehouse for me, and such simple it is. And yeah, some of the industries or some of the enterprise uses one lakehouse where every other users to come in and access, or you can create same like different lakehouse and you can combine them without even duplicating the data with the help of shortcut. And yeah, when we talk about shortcut, I was also thinking quickly to show some capabilities. For example, you have already built some lakehouse and data lake somewhere in S3 and maybe in other cloud, and you want to bring them without replicating the data into lakehouse. There is a capability called shortcut.
Wow. So that means we don't need to copy the file. Just put it there and just let the fabric connect to it, right? Wow, that's
Exactly. So yeah, you don't need to duplicate the data. So early days, if I really want to get my data from S3 or even from previously built Lakehouse, I have to really replicate the data in somewhere. Like even for Power BI, either I have to really use my Spark compute to run and go and read the data, or you have to pump it into import mode and make it available. So now I can use a direct lake mode with the help of shortcut. I can pass through and access the data wherever it lives. So say if I'm picking up from anywhere from Amazon S3 or GCP, I should be able to extract them without duplicating the data, right? So since it's an empty lake house, right? Yeah, if you are kind of starting fresh, new, and you want to play around, there is something called sample data we also provide. And additionally, if you look at, there are other few capabilities you can upload or you can connect to different data flows and pipelines, which is right away from here, which is possible. Right, I just clicked sample data, so I can also show you what kind of things exist within the lakehouse. Right, it actually the sample data has been copied into my lakehouse, and the lakehouse also gives you capability to preview right away. Right, so the data format which is lies under the table, which is again delta parquet format, and if you look at the files, which is again anything parquet, CSV, any kind of file, you can park it under file format and say I do have some images. So it's all comes from my sample data, right? So yeah, further down, if you look at the data which lives in my delta parquet format, I can also look at the schemas and things, and say I really want to start with my notebooks, I can start right away from here. Or I can also say, oh, okay, so the Lakehouse also provides two other endpoints. One is the Lakehouse endpoints, which means like how you read the storage account, you do have ADLS kind of endpoints, which you can use it for any kind of reading the big data kind of work. And we also provide SQL endpoints, which is actually attached within the Lakehouse, where you can switch to the different experience of you are a SQL engineer. You want to write them, all of them, very simple SQL queries. Yeah, which is feasible by switching to SQL Analytics. And yeah, you can start. I think you would probably remember if I create some simple queries. I'd say if I start creating as a simple select statement, it's actually simple T-SQL queries and C-SQL format. You can start writing and do all of them just with the Lakehouse capabilities. Right, okay, so let me quickly switch back to my Lakehouse and connect to my data ingestion perspective. I just want to show some experience with the Copilot in action there. Right, so say I'm actually starting get data right away from here. I'm going to click a new Gen 2 data flow. Right, so maybe you also would notice there is a name, you can name it, and you can also do the labels, which is sensitive labels. In case you would probably not know, the sensitive label comes from a compliance perspective. In case you have a data which is a highly sensitive and confidential, only your organization is supposed to see, even by mistake, if you have invited someone who doesn't have access to this label, which is fully protected. Right, so for interestingly, we have plenty of connectors pre-built in, and this is not something new for everybody. If they are a Power BI user, they would have been already experienced these connectors previously. Yeah, we have a plenty of connectors. And I'm going to try one of the CSV data, which actually picked up from my Google data source. They were in competition, which is running for hotel booking one, and they want to do some kind of machine learning model as a hackathon kind of project. I picked up the data from there. I would probably post the links as well later for you guys to, if in case you are interested, the same data set you can try out later in your experience. Right, so what I'm going to do is I have downloaded this file for safety purpose so that I can get this data available definitely for my demo. I'm going to paste the URL where I have parked my data into OneDrive, which is a SharePoint link. So as soon as I paste my link, it actually tells me what connector I'm supposed to pick. Right. So if I throw my SQL connector, it could have picked up the SQL database and say, I don't need to even select the database or connectors, which actually works for my data set. Right. So I picked up right away from the connector what system has proposed me, and it has already authenticated against my ID. Then moving further and just to take a look what kind of data it actually has. So it actually gives you preview option right away in my screen.
I see. So that means we don't need to like upload a file by ourselves. We just like if we have a link, we just like give to the Fabric, and Fabric will do it for us. Is that right?
Yeah, if you just throw the connection string, it can automatically pick up the connector, and you just need to authenticate against to the connector with your right credentials so that you are directly connected to the source. Right. So if you look at my data set, yeah, this is what I have downloaded from the Google site. And yeah, so I have some cleanup has to be done, and let's take a look at it when we create the flow. Right. So right away, I'm into data flow. This is again not new for many of them. This is the same experience what earlier Power BI carries, and it's called Power Query experience. And if you see on top, that's a Power Query. And we also had a Power Query available in Synapse Data Flows, Synapse Pipeline, and also Data Factory Power Query experience. And yes, you might have seen Copilot right away in my right side. Yeah, in case you don't see it, yeah, if you go down to the home menu and there is a Copilot, can come in and help you right away to speed up your things, right? Right, so looking at this data set, and I see this ID column is not definitely required for my data science model. I'm not really concerned about any unique ID perspective. I would probably ask my Copilot to do some task as a cleanup activity, right? So I'll say remove my ID column, which actually right away start doing the actions from my Copilot screen. Right, so what it actually does is it's actually going to remove this column and put it as an additional step. And anytime if I want to revert it back, I can definitely do undo. Yeah, it actually taken out my column right away from the screen. And yeah, if I really want to go back, I can take out this one, or I can undo so that I can revert the change. Right. Yeah, you can.
So, I think that's really cool. So I just wondering, can I ask them to like do like multiple things? Like, okay, can it like convert the data for column agent and company from now to like -1, something like that, because we're gonna work on number or integer, right? And I saw the like row number 19, the data is to be string for the company, and I would like to convert it into the integer. Is it possible to do with it?
Yes, absolutely. You can call multiple requests into same request, and the prompt can be taken back to Copilot, and it actually acts step by step. It actually understands our requirements in detail, and whatever you put, even the names are a different spelling, which is not really correct. It was able to relate it to the metadata and identify and match it. For example, if I'm going to try, there is an agent column and company column where are quite a lot of null value, but I really want to make it as it's an integer column, by the way. So I really want to make it as some default values like -1 or zeros. Then I would probably ask my Copilot to do combining the two tasks together. And also at the end, I'm also telling convert it to the integer format. Okay, let's quickly check it out. And I just asked Copilot to do update this null as a company and agent column to -1. And also change the data type to integer. So what it actually does is it's actually created a custom function from my prompt, and it actually does. If you look at the prompt here, actually converted into the core. Right. So let's look at the data.
Yeah. I see this one is make our life easier. Like it's reduce our like unnecessary tasks, and this one is do like 4 tasks for us. Wow.
Yep. So this if you look at this data has been already transformed to integer format, and also there are cleanup has been already done. Right. So as a typical data engineer, I would also wanted to look at all other column and ensure that my data models and the schema enforcements are really placed in the right way. So I would also wanted to look at what kind of data quality each of the column carries. So let's quickly use the same inbuilt features within our data flow. So say if you drill down to view, there is a column profile, which means it actually enables the column profile for all of the columns right from here. And you can say, I want to see the qualities, valid, error, empty. So it's all valid data. If you see, most of them are says valid. And let's look at a little bit of more detail on the column distributions. Right? Yes, it actually says there are, it actually based on top 1,000 rows, whatever listing in my screen. Based on that, it actually picked up saying, okay, there is 2 distinct value in this column, which means zeros and ones. Yeah, I can drill down right away from here, or I can ask Copilot to remove duplicates, things which is feasible. And I can also say detail out in my detail pan so that I can look at what kind of average, min, max, even count, odd count. So all of them possible to see within the data flow, right? Now I kind of done with this data flow. So let me publish this data so it actually goes back to the lakehouse. If you see, it is right away tied to my lakehouse because I started creating the data flow Gen 2 right from my lakehouse experience. Right, let me publish. It actually goes back to my workspace and goes as an data flow 3 because I didn't really change the name, and it actually goes and publish the data flow and runs the data flow as soon as it's published. So while running, you would probably see his wheel spinning here. Maybe give them few minutes. Let's quickly get this data populated in my lakehouse. Maybe I'll also jump to my lakehouse experience. Yeah, while switching to lakehouse, I'll also see the other one you would also see as a semantic model. So the lakehouse has an totally 3 things exposed. One is the lakehouse endpoint, which is an ADLS kind of URL. Another one is the semantic model where you can create Power BI report right from here. So you don't need to create a separate model. You can say create report. You can start building the report right from here. And the other one is, for example, the SQL endpoint, which I showed you. Like you can write SQL queries. You can get them explored, all of them right from here as well. Okay, so while running, we can also look at the monitoring hub. We also built a monitoring hub to look at what kind of data flow or experience which we have, right? So when something is running, you can see under a monitoring side, and you can look at it, what is that happening right now with your data flow. Right, so once it is completed, obviously it will make a success, or in case of failure, you would probably drill down what kind of failure and all, right? Right, so what we are expecting now should be a new table, which is the hotel booking. Right now is being populated, and there are 33 columns in it. And as a good data scientist or data engineer, I would probably want to preview some data so that I can understand that data has been populated from my CSV into my table right way. So it's actually Delta Packet format. And okay, so let's use this table, which is again Delta Packet format, and explore the data science and data engineering experience. Let's create a new notebook, which is again Python or PySpark kind of experience, where it actually does transform you right away from the same lakehouse to the different experience, which is called data engineering, or you can also think about data science. Right. So if you're an person who would love to stick with your own IDE, you can also use Visual Studio Code or your own IDE back to whatever the one which you are using to, and you can sync the code with through Git, which is an Azure DevOps, where you can get the code synced back to Fabric as well. So when you're switching to your IDE like VS Code, where you can also bring in like GitHub Copilot in action as well. And if you like, you can also get your Fabric Copilot right away. So there is a Copilot button on top of your notebooks, and say you want to start with Copilot, and just say get started and run the cell. So there are a set of magic command which actually runs at the back of your notebook and get things accessible right from your notebook itself. For example, in case you want to ask Copilot to do some activity, yes, you can throw some commands in terms of NLP word, which actually converts them to actionable insights and also code right from here. Okay, so when we are transforming to this notebook, we actually add some default data frame experience. It actually does in the SpicePark. In case you want to switch to the different language, yes, we do give options to switch from Scala, SQL, or R, where they do a lot of analytics work with the help of R, Scala, and Python as well. So yeah, you can do all of them by staying with the same editor. Say in case you are running this data frame, what it actually does is actually reading them in Spark and Spark SQL. I do see Spark SQL here. Why don't I write it directly in the Spark SQL syntax? I can also do them, say, I want to switch to my SQL format, then I'll do SQL right from here and write my code right from here. I think once it is complete, it should probably allow you to run. Okay. Let the previous command complete, then we will wait for this to run.
So that means in a single notebook, we can have multiple languages in here, right?
Yeah, you are switching to different language right from here. And as a data scientist or engineer, they can also use basic chart capability we provide, and you can also bring in a bar chart, pie chart, or a scatter plot. You can bring in all of them right from here in the same notebook itself. They don't need to write the whole set of code to explore this. You just display the data set, and you can convert the data set into the charts as well, right? So that's that powerful things what Fabric actually does right now, right? So yeah, I'm also able to read them in a Spark SQL syntax way, and say let's use my Copilot to do some kind of magic for me. I just want to ask my Copilot to do some kind of insight. Okay, I'm asking my Copilot to read these tables and bring me some insights. So I'm actually supplying some table name right from here. Okay, it's actually start looking at my table name, what I supplied here, and going to throw some kind of insight, what kind of things I can do with this data set. Right, so if you remember, it's actually raw data set. It's in hotel booking information. So it might have not really have too many things which I can probably understand from my own limited understanding perspective. But when Copilot analyze, and it can give you plenty of options for you, right? So it can also help you to analyze the cancellation rate because it's the booking information. And there is a lead time distributions, and there are arrival date analysis, and guest analysis, and market segment, room type. So there's a plenty of option which has actually thrown to us saying, okay, it can do with this raw data, right? So let's ask some interesting one. Again, I'm interested in revenue side. Let's ask Copilot to do some activity for me. So instead of asking here, I can also ask my Copilot to do right away from my notebook. So for that, I would probably use some magic command. It's called code. And I would say just paste the text which I picked up there. I'm going to ask my Copilot to analyze the text which I passed it as a code there. And it should probably build a new code in my new cell. Right, so it actually says, yeah, you're supposed to look at it in two separate things, which is, again, revenue is ADR and stay, weekend, nights, and things, right? Which let me look at what actually does here. Okay, interestingly, there were some interesting errors here. Let's take this out and say, okay, let's review what this data frame does, right? Okay, let me show some. So some 10 records. It should be one though. Okay, so yeah, let me print right away from here. Oh, it actually multiplies and gives me the revenue number. Okay, so if you look at the way it actually engaging as, it gives you an insight, and you can start playing around with the code right from your notebooks or from the in the other side of the chat panel, right? Let me ask Copilot to do revenue analysis. Can you please build revenue analysis with this data. Right, it actually gives me set up code which I can translate back to my notebook, or I can even directly write the same request in my cell.
Right, I see. When we cannot do something, we can ask it to do instead of us, right?
Right. So yeah, as I previously mentioned, you can also stay in the same editor and do kind of data integration perspective. So I was thinking, okay, let's do further down, drill down some of the options which actually thrown. So this is something which actually does looking at the data and gives me as an insights further, and say, let me ask my Copilot to do and some visuals. Right, so it actually looks at my total revenue multiplying by ADR and gives me some set of a code here. I can translate right from here to my notebook, and I can start running this code and see what kind of, okay, I think this revenue was the one which was causing previous error as well.
I think we may need to check on the data frames key that it exists that it exists.
Right, I think I'm actually trying to redefine this. Let's try what it actually does. Okay, so this is one way where you can ask code. I think you can ignore this failure. So let me quickly get the other actions done. Okay. So some of the code we would definitely need as in manual interventions to look at it. But yeah, it is also one of the powerful way to create the code, and you can go and generate some of them. For example, in my case, what I'm asking here was, okay, can you go and integrate the data from my weather forecasting? It actually says yes. It can probably get the data right away from here and shows me as an JSON data set, right? Yeah, I'm just throwing the requirement in terms of English and the plain text. It actually converts them into the code and actionable insights. So this is in data science and data engineering perspective where people can use Copilot to do plenty of things. And yeah, I'm not really a few data scientists to say, go and build the whole model, but I don't need to be a data scientist as well. I can ask Copilot to help me out throughout the journey. If I have a clear insight, what is the things which I want to really do, I can ask step by steps to go. And obviously there are errors and things which we would probably look back and clear it out. Right, so from this experience, I would probably want to quickly take you to the data analyst perspective. For example, I still have the same data exist in my lakehouse. So as I previously mentioned, there is a data set which is pretty much exist in my lakehouse level, wherein you can also create a new semantic model, which is a data set for your Power BI, right? So say I'm going to create a new semantic model right from here in my lakehouse. And I'm going to select my hotel booking as an insight for AI DS. So the data set, our semantic model is again not the new things within Fabric, which is again from the term which Power BI has been using it for the years now. Right, so I'm actually asking Fabric to create a new data set. I'm going to use the same data set to create some Power BI report on top. Right, it might be in few minutes, I should be able to see the whole data set coming into as a nice visuals. Right, so if you see, it's again, I can integrate with multiple other data sources, and I can build the complex data model within Power BI itself. And I can add all of the data sets and grouping and the new calculation. All of them you can do right from here. So what I'm going to do is start the new reports. Yeah, it might probably ask me to authenticate because it's taking to the separate screen right now. Right, so what we're going to do is let's use the same data set, which is again, we know it's an hotel booking data. Yeah, if I'm good enough to start with my Power BI dashboard, I can drag and drop and do all kind of reports right from my Power BI editor. So I really want to see how Copilot can come in and help, right? So if you see, there is a button on top, which is a Copilot experience. And what Copilot does is it looks at the data set holistically and can suggest you what kind of analytic can be built on top. So say if I want to ask Copilot to suggest me some kind of report, which can be more insightful in terms of the hotel booking side, right? So I just knocked with a suggest some content for this report. It actually comes back with few suggestions for me. If you look at,
I think the churn prediction may be good. Booking constellations, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you just start clicking that, it actually creates as a new prompt where the Copilot would basically create a new page automatically for you. Right. So if you look at from the experience perspective, once the Copilot build the report, yeah, you still have option to change visuals and charts, whatever you prefer to. And obviously, Copilot can help to accelerate faster and get things visualized quicker as well. So if I don't really know what kind of data set it is still possible for Copilot to go and analyze the data and make some insights for me saying, okay, so with the help of Copilot, you can understand the data in detail and you can start building the visuals which works for you. Right, if you right away look at from my screen, interestingly, it does create a visual and it also gave me some slices, which is an year-based slices and the hotel, which is city hotel or resort hotel, which is something which I'm really excited with. Right? So say if I want to drill down to the specific year, I can anytime use my slices to drill down. It is fully interactive report. And that's the power of AI coming into Fabric, right? So anytime you can save this report and share with your colleagues to start playing around with this, or you can change them based on your colleagues' feedback. Again, the Power BI is not new, right? So all of them you can do just staying within Fabric portal. All of the experience, if you remember, I started with data engineering. All of the experience you can go from same experience to one other to another, right? It's such a easier and quicker. And yeah, if you in case you have your own description you want to ask Copilot to do, obviously it can actually go and build the reports accordingly. So say the revenue is the one which I was interested. Let me try asking the same revenue and occupancy rate over the time. It's supposed to give me some kind of over the time, which is a time slices kind of things. Let's look at it. Right, it will be creating a new page and I can save my reports and share with your co-workers or the colleagues who can really come in and review the report and feedback to you accordingly. So that's the power of a whole end-to-end what I was thinking of showing you today, starting with data ingestion and doing with a bit on your data engineering and data science capabilities, and followed by I want to build some report with the help of Copilot. Right, it does build some revenue numbers as an indicators here and the lead times and all. Yep, so you can start exploring. In case the suggestion is not really good enough for you, you can ask different suggestions to give, and it can again regenerate some of the suggestions. It would actually again looks at your data and look at the possibilities of creating some other different insightful journeys for you. If you look at it, actually switched and created some different one also. And yeah, you can also type in by your simple English term, it can actually understand and do all of the visualizations. Right? I think I'm kind of covered the whole end-to-end, and I want to quickly bring you back to our slides.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Satik. I think it's very good to see that these tools, one thing that it's really awesome for this product is you can do everything since like data engineering, data scientist, and data analytics in a single browser, in a web browser. You don't need to install any program. That is really awesome. And one thing that Copilot showed us that is really cool is we just command it by a human language.
Yep.
And that you can see is like querying the data for us. We just like ask it to do 4 tasks by just a single human language command. That's really
Yep.
awesome. Oh, that's
Right.
cool. And I think we're gonna have a little bit time. So I think we're gonna closing with this one with the question. I think so many customer gonna have some question in their mind. How do we ensure that Microsoft as a Microsoft Cloud protect the user data? How do they do it? Can you explain a little bit about it?
Sure. Absolutely. So again, as I previously mentioned, the Power BI is not new to anyone, and it's been in the market for more than 8+ years now. And yeah, the Power BI is one of the toughest product, and we have around 120 plus certification, compliance certification, and which actually adheres to all of the industry standards and requirement, which is globally enforced. And coming down to the data, which is again, the data remains all the time, it's your data. If you look at where the Fabric basically positions is under your M365 tenant. The M365 is nothing but your Office package where Outlook, Words, and PowerPoints, all of them live. Under the same bucket, we have a Power BI earlier. The same Power BI experience has been expanded to all of the Fabric. So it is not really new for many of the customer, honestly. And then the experience-wise, absolutely, again, from the data factory or from the Synapse side, it is not again new for any of them as well, because it's an Azure product where we have packaged them into SaaS capabilities. Right. So with Copilot in play, yes, it is always reminds their data is always their data, and we run on trust. And yes, so we don't really use any of your data for any kind of training the model. So which means fully compliant to the border. And then if you also look at it from the data traffic perspective, we also provide managed private endpoints and managed private networks where you can bring in the data, even though it is a SaaS product, where we can communicate through private endpoints, which is a fully secured way.
I see.
Right?
That's very good. Very good. I think the customer feel more confidence right now, and they can try it. So we're gonna end our section by the 2 things. Okay. Before we go to the second thing, first thing is, okay, now even me and the audience, I think they would like to try our Microsoft Fabric. How do we can start? How do we can try this product?
Right. So if you're an existing customer of Power BI, you have an additional options to just turn on the trial where you can go and explore Fabric right from your existing Power BI tool. And coming down to someone who's really new, they can sign up for Power BI or the Copilot and the Fabric experience right from the link which I have shared in the slides. And additionally, in case they already have, but they don't really want to touch their own existing stuff, still they want to spin up their separate demo kind of things, or maybe experience perspective, they really want to do some kind of exploration kind of things, they can definitely spin up M365 tenant. There is a free trials available. They can start playing around with that. Once they're comfortable, they can move to their own tenants as well. So there are fully compliance border and boundaries available where admin can come in and help you to secure a lot of things which are pretty much fully controlled by them. And we also align to the previous question. I would also need to highlight one particular thing, which is the capacities. The Fabric capacities, nothing but the region boundaries. When you do something within that region, the data, all workload basically stored within that particular region boundaries, which is a data residency perspective. We comply with that as well.
I see. That's awesome. So thank you so much, Sakthi. We're gonna close our section by our 2 questions to the audience. Well, actually, we have 2 questions. Our first question that we're gonna ask to the audience that who still be in our section. So how many tools that are you using right now for end-to-end data analytics? Yeah, you can paste a comment in our in the chat. We can have. We would like to know how many tools that you have to like do things like data engineering, data analytics, data scientist, how many tools that you have to use right now, and we would like to know your challenge as well.
Right. So honestly, if you ask me, I do have a lot of things to share because prior to Fabric, I have been playing with Data Factory separately, Data Explorer separately, Data Lake separately, and a database is another component. Data Warehouse is another component. Purview, which is a compliance perspective, and data governance perspective, which is a separate tool. Power BI is a separate experience. So I have almost 9 tools which actually comes together to help one single analytics end to end. Yeah, so that's my experience. Yeah, we would love to hear from your side as well.
I see. Oh, we have the comment from Sasha. Thank you so much. Yeah, like after even like we enjoy with like the data, but one thing that we don't need to forget to concern is about security. Microsoft also like thinking about it already. Underlying of the AI data, you're gonna see like one component we call Microsoft Purview. It's gonna work for us on that part as well.
Yep.
That's cool. I see. So I think we're good to go, right? I think Satik, you have anything else to like?
Nothing specific from my side. Let's pass it on to Susan.
Hello.
And thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Sakthi and Joe. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much, both of your lovely demos. Not gonna lie, I can't wait to experience Copilot on Microsoft Fabric and Power BI myself. I believe that would be quite a game changer for many of us, from program managers to marketers, basically everyone. So you know what they say, data is king, and being able to analyze data effectively and efficiently is checkmate. Okay, I sound like I play much chess, but actually I don't. So don't cancel me if I'm using checkmate wrongly. But yeah, so with the resources that you have shared, thank you so much. We're now able to get started, all of us, on Microsoft Fabric and experience it ourselves. So to you that's watching this session today, if you found this session, this topic super helpful, please take time to hit on the like and subscribe button or hit on the notify button itself. And if you've enjoyed today's session, please join us for the next one. So I'm going to share a bit here. So again, you can find the details on aka.ms startup AI school. And oh, Job, it's you again. You're speaking on the next one. So why don't you give us a little teaser?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure, of course. Yeah. So in the next section of mine, we're gonna be talking about like LLM ops. I think so many people gonna heard about like ML ops or depth ops before, but when we came to the era of AI, era of the Gen AI, we're gonna learn how do we like deal with a repeatable tasks of like building the LLMs in the operation part. We're gonna learn how to do like the automation of it and on the production phase. So we're gonna learn on it and how do we like unlock the potential of it as well. Yeah.
Perfect. And following that session itself, we have a panel on glitz, glamour, and grind of a startup. So we tap into the brains of our 3 startup founders to hear from them. So be sure to sign up for that session too. So switching gears a little, you probably heard about it. Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every human and organization to achieve more, and this includes startups as well. So we want to be able to enable founders to be able to solve world problems and build a better future. So if you have plans on creating a product centering around AI or accelerated AI innovation, for instance, we do have the Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub, which is a very dynamic and platform and ecosystem supporting founders like yourselves. So from ideate stage to development, grow, and scale. So we're talking about free OpenAI credits, 150 Azure credits, access to lots of development tools, experts, etc. So yeah, check it out. I encourage you to do so. So we have also included a link to today's survey. So if you do have time, please could you help us fill that out so that we know how we can better our program itself. Yeah, so sorry, I guess as we're talking, we do have like more comments coming in. So I think we have friends who are very amazed by the Power BI piece as well. So that's great. We do have a comment that says if what's the trajectory I can follow as a data analyst. So I'm just going to flesh it out here. Hang on. We are running out of time, but I just want to be mindful that we do have like comments here. So sorry, this one. Yeah. So I guess maybe what we can do is perhaps Sakthi, do you want to like flesh out your contact details, your LinkedIn, so that like everybody can reach out to you after this session should they have more questions. Same for Job. Like yeah, so that we can have questions answered. Yeah.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Yes, they can reach out to us later anytime. So I'm sharing again my LinkedIn and
Perfect.
so Japs one. Yeah, hope you can.
See it.
like
Hang on.
my-
Yep. Let me bring that up so that everybody can see it.
Right.
Okay,
So I'm
thank you so
also
much.
part of the Founders Hub member, and yeah, anytime if you have a question, you can bring it to Founders Hub. We can also come and help you in terms of advisories and some assistance in terms of if you're bringing up your startup things to live.
Sure. So, I mean, his contact is there. So whether you're a startup or not, if you just have general questions on Microsoft Fabric, reach out to our friends, our speakers. Okay, so thank you so much for everyone's time. Do let us know what kind of content you're looking out for, what kind of knowledge you want, and we'll be sure to like feature them on Startup AI School. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.